Hey guys, what is going on? This is TwinkeyRunaway here, giving you a very special segment. We have our third interview, I believe, with a very special guest. His name is CressAlbane. We're going to ask him a series of 5 questions. These are pre-recorded answers. Unfortunately, we couldn't do something live due to technical difficulties, but I do hope that you enjoy this particular interview. So our first question is, do you have any advice for other people looking to start modding?
If you're looking to start modding, I can sum up my advice in one simple phrase: jump in. As long as somebody is enjoying the modding, mapping, and designing process, I think it's a success. Plus, the community can always use another person interested in this great game.
Tell us about some of your current projects.
Currently, I've been working on a couple of projects, business as usual for me I guess, including a series of Capture the Flag arena maps, and a project to make maps based on the game Sonic Adventure 2. As one of the games I played the most as a kid, Sonic Adventure 2 holds a special place in my heart, and I decided that some maps based on the levels in the game would be a really neat way to show my respect.
Given the opportunity, which other modder would you like to work with?
I'm not sure who I would work with. I mean, it would be cool to work with one of the greats like Teamcom or Fusion, but those guys aren't really making maps anymore, and I'm not sure I would be good enough to work with them. Also, it could be really cool to be part of a modding team like the Wolfman's group or something, and kudos to them for being one of the few successful mod teams. But working in a group like that also comes with its drawbacks, like scheduling conflicts. I think any other modder who's dedicated, anybody like that would be just great to work with in a small pair. And I think the Wolfman's team is doing as well as it is because at its core it's really just 2 or 3 dedicated people. For example, working with Ute5 on the Coruscant Rooftops project was really great. I feel like we helped the other work harder and at his own pace, and that could be difficult to do in a larger group.
Why don't you describe some of your past work, sir?
Well, as a beginning mapper, I had a surplus of motivation and a lack of good design and work habits. I churned out a lot of maps that are, in retrospect, really junky, and I didn't start giving my maps the care they deserve until about 2 years ago. I have a really bad habit of starting projects, doing some work, and then never finishing. So about half of my ideas never really get out of the planning phase, but when I was little the planning was half of the fun. I probably still have some notebooks laying around filled with scrawled map diagrams I would make during class. As for recommending any of my past work, the only maps I would be proud enough to recommend are Crater Battle and Coruscant Rooftops, although I think it's published as Coruscant Skyline.
What do you think is most important in map design?
As I mentioned before, when I first started modding, I didn't really understand how to make good maps. I feel like the only useful thing to come from my early maps is a good understanding of what not to do. Perhaps coming from those maps, though, is the concept that every map should have something to distinguish it from other maps. If my earlier maps had been more unique, I think they would have been a lot more enjoyable. For instance, in my Capture the Flag maps, I've been trying to add some sort of scripted interaction that the players can use to sway the battle. In the first map, for instance, there's an auto turret that moves around the arena shooting out flames like a rogue welding droid. I set up the map so that players can destroy the control sphere of the turret and make it hostile to only the other team. As another example, in the water arena, the player can destroy lotus flowers on the surface of the pond to raise or lower new lily pad paths. I mean, imagine being able to destroy the platform that the enemy flag carrier is rallying on. Scripted events like that seem pretty rare in maps these days, but I recommend implementing them to somebody trying to make a memorable, unique map. Moving to my other project, the Sonic Adventure 2 maps, I've been trying to remain faithful to the environment of the original game while also constructing a fun area to battle in. It's been really enjoyable to twist elements of the original game into combat, such as using the water heater looking things in Sand Ocean and making them cover for troops until they explode from damage. Above all, though, I think the most important element in map design is that the creator really care about the quality of his maps. If I could go back and make myself keep working until I perfected many of my old maps, I'd be a lot more proud of them. That's some advice I would give to people getting started modding and people who are starting to get burned out.
And with that, we'll have some closing statements.
Thank you for the interview.
I want to thank CressAlbane again for taking the time to do this interview with us, and next we'll have Wolfman and Marth, best known as the Frayed Wire team. They are responsible for Mass Effect Unification, so if you're kind of curious about them, I invite you guys to stay tuned and well, that will be our next interview. I'd like to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, and I hope your holiday season was wonderful. Catch you later, guys. Adios.